He did the ultimate. No, you don't do that. And he did that. And I'll never take him back. So it's dash dash. It's a done deal. He killed it. He did. He really did. Why do men cheat? I mean, I don't know. I don't have the dash. I don't have the age-old remedy for stopping a man from doing what a man wants to do. Each is dash, to each his own. Unfortunately, with a dash, infidelity, it's a very serious thing. And you either have to work through it, or either you recognize that this isn't obviously the place that you want to be. And all men don't cheat. I think it's just kind of a product of maybe your emotion or maybe your insecurity as a man. Okay, let's be real, guys. If you grow up in an environment where love, power, and intimacy are all transactional, and where you're exposed to hyperrealized behavior before you even hit 16, how are you supposed to build a healthy relationship with anyone? Child.assistant based on reports. This is kind of what affected the relationship between TLC's Chilli and Usher. I mean, Usher was always caught up in some sort of cheating scandal, and now people are saying that maybe all of this was as a result of what he was forced to go through at the Puffy Flavor camp. But I mentioned that earlier, that he said about Stevie J, the Usher, part that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling, and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay, and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him, and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business. Right. I know Dash, and people know. That was around that in that time, that Puff and Usher did have a situation, and that situation led Usher to the hospital, child. Allegedly, behind the scenes, Chilli has been confirming what Kim Porter reportedly knew, which is that Diddy possibly put Usher in the hospital after forcing himself on young Usher. And now people are just like, maybe the question shouldn't be, why did Usher cheat? Maybe the question should be, what was done to Usher and who allowed it? I mean, damn. I sure hope you guys are all seated. See, the thing is, Usher and Chilli originally met when Usher signed to the same label. As Chilli, LaFace Records, of course we know that Usher was given to Diddy as a mentor, and at 14 years old, he moved to New York to stay with Diddy Dash, and by extension, he had to go through the Puffy Flavor camp. Usher also started dating Chilli after some time, and during their relationship, Chilli made cameos in Usher's music videos, including You Remind Me and You Got It Bad. Unfortunately, Chilli and Usher decided to part ways, and in 2004, Chilli suggested that cheating played a role in their breakup when she said on The Burt Show on Atlanta's Q00 that Usher committed the ultimate no and that she would never take him back. In the same interview, Chilli also said that if someone cheats one time, you don't wait around to see if they're going to do it again, basically confirming that Usher cheated on her. In addition, during an episode of VH1's Behind the Music, Chilli recalled hearing rumors of infidelity that she told Usher about, and he even admitted it. She said, he admitted it. You know, I felt like a fool. I felt like everybody knew something, and I didn't, and I'm just now finding out. In fact, in Iki Bin on Uch, Chilli was still talking about how she was hurt, and she even told Us Weekly, in any relationship, even when it came to my relationship with Usher, when it was time to make a move, I had to do that. I don't care how much my heart was hurting. Sometimes you're just supposed to be with people for a reason, and it's not always a lifetime. Even if you wanted to be, It just doesn't work out that way. But I'll always love him forever because he was my first adult love, a real love. But we're cool. We're really cool. There's no hard feelings. Nothing like that. It's all good. Well, dash. What people have been saying for a long time is that whatever Usher went through when he was with Diddy influenced how he handled his relationships, and the person who witnessed a huge chunk of it was Chilli, because she was there from the beginning. Let's be clear, though. Nothing has ever been confirmed. But if even a fraction of those rumors are true, it makes you look at Usher's behavior in a whole new light. Imagine being a kid, thrust into that world, possibly manipulated or exposed to hyperreal situations before you could even process them. That kind of psychological impact doesn't just disappear, and it can literally determine how you love, how you trust, how you handle intimacy. So when Usher got with Chilli, someone who genuinely loved him, maybe he wanted to be that man, but couldn't. Maybe the unresolved trauma from his Diddy era came back to haunt him. Maybe the cheating, the emotional distance wasn't just about being a player. Who knows? Maybe it was pain. And you know what? Usher's trauma seemingly persisted long after he was with Chilli, with people like Wendy Williams and Dwight Eubanks, even discussing how troubled Usher's marriage was. In fact, they even suggested that Usher was on the DL. We know the word on the street regarding that marriage and what it's all about. Well, dash, it is what it is. It is what it is. But since you're in Atlanta, you can take us in a little bit more. So what is the word on the street and what that marriage is about? We're going to hold that for a later date, but what you think you heard is what's on the dash. What's on the street? Okay, Dash, so how you doing? Wow, Dash. Well, I'm gonna write you let's go to a commercial break. Okay, Dash. And when we consider all the stories we've heard about Diddy being on the DL and hooking up with Usher, guys, it just makes the whole situation even worse. I mean, we had Jaguar Wright spilling some serious tea about a lawyer who walked in on Diddy and Christopher Williams, having a moment, and allegedly, they didn't even stop after realizing that someone had walked in on them.